Hi everyone. Today I wanted to give you my tips on building your intercultural business by staying top of mind at these intercultural training companies that you are freelancing for. So, I am an intercultural trainer, but what some of you might not know is that for most of my career, about 13 years, I actually was on the business side of things. So, working within large intercultural training companies. And these are companies delivering thousands of trainings around the world every year. And as part of my job, for a large part of my time at those companies, I was in charge of managing the consultant and trainer networks. So that's anything from sourcing to onboarding to handling policies, fees, etc. And so I thought, I have some insights that maybe intercultural trainers who haven't worked on the business side wouldn't, and I just wanted to share those with you. So here are 4 tips that I have to help you stay top of mind and hopefully get more business from those intercultural training companies. So the first tip is to stay in touch. Now, this one's kind of tricky because you don't want to bother or inundate the intercultural training team by contacting them every week. So when I say stay in touch, I don't mean, every week or even necessarily every month. But you do want to stay fresh in their mind. So send an email, give a call every once in a while in case you haven't heard from them. Most likely you haven't heard from them just because they haven't had any work. It's not that you did anything wrong. They just don't have any programs at the moment in your area. That's typically the case. So when you do reach out, just don't ask every time, oh, hey, are there any more programs for me? But use it as an opportunity to update them on something new. So maybe you've moved, even if it's within your own country or city. Maybe you've moved to a different neighborhood. Maybe you've gotten a new certification. Maybe you learned a new language. Maybe you can add additional cultures or countries of expertise. So any of that information is useful for the intercultural training companies because most will put that in a database, and having that information completed is going to make you more visible the more information you have in your profile, if you will. My second tip is to get personal. So I know this can be different around the world in different cultures, but really having relationships and building relationships with the intercultural team. So I don't just mean the head of the team. So for example, I was, in charge of managing the team of program managers. Sure, you want to have a relationship with me or with the person leading the team, but really you want to make sure you're also communicating with all of those program managers. They might have different names at different companies, but essentially those are the people that are contacting you to schedule the trainings. Reach out to them, send them a birthday email or, maybe a holiday gift if you can. In-person visits when when we're allowed to do that again. If you're able to stop by the company face to face, even better. If not, schedule some sort of webinar. Tell the team, hey, would you guys like to learn, about China? Let's jump on maybe a lunch session and I'll talk a little bit about China. Anything that could kind of establish a relationship with the team themselves is really helpful because at many intercultural training companies, those program managers actually have the authority to choose what trainer they want. So it's really important that you get personal and have that relationships in one way or another. My third tip is to be organized. So I realize as an intercultural trainer, it can be hard to juggle all these different trainings, keep track of the policies that each company has. I've been there, I completely understand. But obviously, if you're not organized, you could forget about a program. We've had that happen. It's rare. But maybe you double book yourself and then you need to go back to your program manager and say you can't do a training that you already agreed to. These things happen, and it's not the end of the world if it happens once or twice. But you definitely don't want that happening all the time. It obviously creates a lot of extra work for the program management team, but more importantly, that team has to go back to their client and explain why they're rescheduling or why there was a misunderstanding. So you can avoid a lot of that if you just stay organized, and go ahead and ask the team, hey, do you have any tips for how I can stay organized? Because they might have a way of doing something that is different from other companies that might actually help. And my fourth and last tip really is to deliver quality programs. Pretty obvious. If most of the trainings, there's some sort of evaluation done, whether it's by the intercultural training company, by the relocation management company, internally at the corporate client. There's some sort of evaluation or feedback on the training. Obviously, if there aren't good scores, people don't get eliminated. That's it. You're not in our trainer network anymore. Most companies will work through you with that, um, or work with you through that. But and a lot of times it's misunderstandings. We get that. But obviously, if there are consistent low scores or negative reviews, that's going to impact any future work you get. So most companies are willing to help you with that. If there are any issues, they want to train you, they want to work with you so you can improve. And if they don't offer that, don't be afraid to ask. Ask them for, what their input on how you can improve your programs. Other ways you can do that are, I kind of mentioned earlier, maybe go through a certification, train the trainer program. Um, go through a coaching program. The International Coaching Federation has some great programs. Also, CIATAR, I always mention, the Society for Intercultural Education, Training, and Research, offers great programs, webinars. Do what you can to kind of hone your skills and improve the delivery of your programs. So I hope those 4 tips are helpful. As always, reach out with any questions. I'm here to help. Thanks.